From the outside looking in, Britain is a polite country. We queue in silence, apologise to furniture, and occasionally undergo ideological revolutions without raising our voice above a murmur. Today's story is about a group that didn't storm the palace. They walked through the administrative entrance and rewrote the paperwork with a big smile. Meet the Fabian Society, a group whose symbology includes a very polite but very literal wolf in sheep's clothing. The Fabians formed in 1884, a circle of intellectuals who believe society shouldn't be overthrown, but gently encouraged to evolve. Not the Bolsheviks burn it all down, more the British, let's file a report and revisit this next quarter. Because their philosophy is gradualism, the art of boiling the frog so slowly it thinks it's being poached for charity. And their name? It comes from Fabius Maximus, a Roman general who refused direct battle, preferring delay, patience and quiet attrition. The Fabians said, yeah, let's do that, but to society. Now, a remarkable artefact is the Fabian window, a stained glass tableau of their founder, standing around an anvil, hammering the world into shape. About as subtle as a sledgehammer through a souffle. Below glows their motto, remould it nearer to the heart's desire. And that's a charming sentiment, depending entirely on whose heart is doing the desiring and which hammer is being used. And the symbology of the wolf in sheep's clothing, a reoccurring emblem so blunt it practically nudges you with its paw. Officially, symbolically, it's meant to state persistence. Unofficially, the imagery rather speaks for itself. The symbology that groups use is no accident, but most choose noble heraldry, lions, eagles, olive branches. The Fabians chose a disguised predator, a symbol of gentle infiltration, soft entry, and reform wrapped in reassurance. A piece of political symbology so direct, it borders on self-parody, and therefore is kind of perfect. H.G. Wells, a proud Fabian, he dreamed of a world managed by experts, and quite coincidentally, people who look suspiciously like H.G. Wells. The Huxley brothers, Aldous envisioned a world where people loved their servitude, a brave new world, engineered through comfort and conditioning. His brother Julian championed scientific humanism and global coordination. They were not Fabians, but ideologically adjacent. And George Orwell, not a Fabian, more like the alarm bell in the machinery. His 1984 wasn't directly about Fabians, but it was a warning about technocratic dreams turning into bureaucratic nightmares. Fabians' influence wasn't built on riots or revolutions. They didn't overthrow institutions, they joined them. Civil service, policy think tanks, universities, education boards, early labour foundations. Britain changed not with a bang, but with a politely revised draft. And why does any of this matter today? Because although Fabianism softened, the administrative mindset continues. You can see traces of it in behavioural nudges, incremental legal changes, expert panels, technocratic steering, and slow cultural adjustments. And of course, if you pay attention and listen closely, you can still hear the faint echoes of that old gradualist tune in other modern policy circles. You know, the ones where the rich and clever people gather to diagram the future on neat slides. It's a familiar breeze, not a conspiracy, just a reoccurring preference among people who believe progress works best when administrated gently from the boardroom. Fabian's subtlety seems to be slipping. The policies that once tiptoed now arrive with confident strides. Everything is don't worry, it's just a pilot scheme. Perhaps the planners feel time is slipping away. Or perhaps the public is finally smelling the coffee before the pot begins to bubble. Historically, the Fabians defined themselves against explosive Bolshevism. They preferred the slow roast. Yet today, some shifts feel oddly rushed, as if someone misplaced the hourglass, and the frogs finally spotted the steam. And let's be clear, the Fabians weren't a secret cabal in a basement stroking cats under a spotlight. They were, and are, a political think tank with ambitious ideas and deeply unusual and telling symbology. The real story isn't a conspiracy essay, it's a philosophy. Change society slow enough that nobody panics. Whether that's genius or troubling depends on your taste and on who you believe is quietly seasoning Britain's soup. So next time a new policy appears quietly tucked into page 47 of a consultation document that nobody read, remember Britain doesn't do revolutions. They do revisions. And the wolves, they don't howl, they whisper. While the rest of us are getting pretty sick of the queue.